Live on YouTube, it's the Chromaniacs post-match show. We won a match, everybody! Oh my God! 3 points to SDFC, 5 goals. High five, everybody! Great success. High five. 5-0. SDFC, Austin, tree chopped down, thrown in the chipper at the end of this one. It's time to celebrate live on a Wednesday night, approaching 10 o'clock. Let's get to it, everybody. I'm Craig Elson, joined by my Chromaniacs. Alex Pena is in his place of residence, and live at Snapdragon Stadium, the man who just talked to all the other men, it's Tony Sanchez. Tony, what's up, brother?
Well, we got some good post-match after a good victory, some celebrations, some insight on what was played on the Ox for a celebration, and who played it. Man of the match here, Pedro Soma. But you can argue there's a couple of men of the matches here in this 5-0 performance for San Diego FC on a Wednesday.
Alex, your thoughts on this big dominant win?
It feels great. It feels like the kids are all right. They did the job. They came in on a Wednesday and got the win in a higher margin than I thought they would. And man, they absolutely dominated Austin FC tonight.
Yeah, I think you had 1-0 on your bingo board. Is that what you had?
That's right.
Well,
I didn't expect
5. 2-2. I had a 2-2 to be completely honest. Those baby steps, and you know what? They shut some mouths up, but then there's other mouths that are going to start yapping of, well, let's do it against the top 5, top 7 team. Take what you can get. Take what you can get right now and run and be happy with it, because the players certainly were.
This is the second week of May. The last time SDFC won in a MLS match was the first week of March. So we will celebrate and not worry about, oh, well, you didn't do it against the top 5. And back in my day, it would have won 8-0. Like, I'm not worried about any of that. SDFC needed this win so bad. Shout out in the chat right now, Cool Will 20. I want to tell you why. I'm wearing the Loyal jersey today because shout out Loyal Select. Loyal Select, not to be forgotten. They weren't here long, but they're not to be forgotten. San Diego Loyal was not only building a USL championship side, they were trying to build their own academy. And arguably, I don't think arguably, the 2 top guys in that academy on Loyal Select were goalkeeper Duran Ferree and striker CJ Fodry, who made his USL championship debut before the Loyal disappeared. And today, CJ Fodry took a shot that Duran Ferree managed to save. And CJ Fodry had a header that went a little wide of Duran Ferree's net in MLS. So shout out Vasiliadis, shout out Donovan, shout out everybody within the hierarchy of San Diego Loyal. You're gone, but you're not forgotten. And tonight I saw in MLS the seeds that you planted flourish into little bushes out there. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's a one of these things where it's serendipitous in a lot of ways. You know, you have another San Diego with Brandon Vasquez on the other side. He doesn't necessarily make that appearance. CJ does come in, but I mean, talk about the storyline and what a moment to have San Diego turn potentially their luck and turn the other coin of what could potentially be some positive yardage in terms of points in the last couple of games, where it seemed like it wasn't going to go that way, at least very recently. But hey, in the last 3 matches, 5 points, the way that this team was trending, I don't think anybody should necessarily be upset too much about that, especially considering what was before today.
Yeah, and I think San Diego FC has finally shaken off the hangover a little bit. You know, and it happens. You go down to Mexico, get beat up, you know, have too many drinks down there, and then you come over and you have a terrible April, absolutely terrible April. And now that the calendar is flipped. It's now May. You have 5 points, like Tony said. Everything's looking up. It's looking towards a positive direction. And guess what? You know who has the hangover now? LAFC. They just lost against St. Louis.
1,000%. Yeah.
They're dealing with the hangover now. They went down to Mexico, got beat up, had too much to drink, and now they're looking like they're down and out, and it might take them a while to get back up.
Hey, shout out to, and if you missed it, check out our last full episode of Chromaniacs with Matt Doyle from Tactics Free Zone. And I've been reading his newsletter ever since, which is amazing. I'll listen, if you're an MLS fan, you should be subscribed to Matt Doyle, Tactics Free Zone, because you'll become a much better fan of the entire league. Much like Craig Calcaterra with Cup of Coffee in MLB will make you a much better fan of the entire league. Matt Doyle has that going on. But I digress. He said on last Thursday's show about the CONCACAF Champions Cup hangover and how real it is and how SDFC experienced a very severe version of it. Who knows how long it lasts for LAFC? They're a more mature club than San Diego FC is in terms of years, in terms of pedigree trophies, and everything else. But it's real. And maybe the Azul and Chrome are working their way out of the tunnel and heading back into open ground, because 3 games unbeaten now is a real streak. That's a real streak. You just threw away 10 winless. You now have 3 unbeaten. That's real. You have a chance to build on something going into the break instead of dragging your ass into the break and praying that you'd have everything fall the right way, that with a better team on the other side, you might be able to sprint your way into a playoff spot. Instead, I'm here to say, guys, this win, the tie in Seattle, the tie against LAFC, those could be the points that put this team into the playoffs or into a play-in game that they won't find with a really tough schedule in the second half. It might be these points right now that are the ones that get this team over the line at the end.
Yeah, if you're a big fan of the goal differential, this was it. This was a good game for that. And yeah, just like you said, it's trending in a good direction that you can get those 40 plus points that you need in to get that wild card spot for the playoff. And yeah, hopefully it just continues, and it's not that hard to get that spot. You just have to keep banking wins, keep getting points, and yeah, we'll see this team, get there eventually. They just have to get through this next couple games.
I mean, absolutely. And I mean, speaking of people to follow, right, if you want to enjoy the game a little bit more, SanDiego.Futbol, Cesar Hernandez was actually next to me in the press box. And, he has access to juicier stats because of the big E and who he works for. And so, we're going back and forth in terms of what this team was actually producing in these last couple of matches and how flabbergasted he was in a way of like, this team's goal differential, as we mentioned, is not that bad. The amount of times that the team possesses the ball is not that bad. But then you look at other stats of how much time San Diego FC has led these games and compare those to the points that they've been able to just get out of them. And, it's a very interesting side of thing where if you look at this match is, well, San Diego FC played well, no doubt. San Diego FC played well. The players that were in there definitely stepped up and did what they were supposed to and more. But also you did play an Austin team that seemed to be lost, that seemed to be relatively just, giving up the wildest corners that I've seen here at Snapdragon, and some throw-ins that are just like, okay, like, all right, like I understand that, but you still see San Diego FC capitalizing on those chances. We've heard Mike Ivada say they're building for something. They're building for something. They're building for a full 90, and they just gave you a full 90. And I don't care who the opponent was, whether it's the bottom team in the league, whether it's the top team in your league. San Diego FC needed this victory today, and they got it done, and they are supposed to win these matches by this scoreline. Now you're starting to see just the division potentially of okay, where does San Diego FC really land? Right now, they're in 10th place. They were kind of marauding in that 13th, 12th spot, 14th, and now you're starting to see there's a real difference between some of these teams and a real level where San Diego FC may not be in the worst place that they could possibly be, and they did it with a rotated squad. Some of these players, look at that.
You know what?
Okay, rotated.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this for a second.
Mhm.
Let me talk about the rotation that I think mattered the most today, and then we'll get into man of the match, and we'll get into post-game sound and everything else. Mikey Vares hasn't had a right back all year. He's had a mess at right back all year. And today he took his best player in the back, other than Manadua. He took Luca Bombino, his best attacking player in the back, and he put him on the right wing at right fullback. He took him from left fullback to right fullback, and it made a world of difference. He was so dynamic in this game, especially in the first 30 minutes. He was consistently attacking, finding open spaces, creating unbalanced rushes on his side of the field. I thought that Luca Bombino had an incredible game. I don't know if he's my man of the match, but I'll tell you what, he is a plus performer in this game to be sure. And that was a rotation that really worked.
That's almost like a winning formula for this team right now, that when they started off the season, this is what we saw against St. Louis and Montreal and Sporting KC. This is how they played out those matches. And then when things got a little bit serious and they wanted to, play Luca Bombino in his strongest position, that was against Toluca, and things kind of fell off the rails after that. But when I did also notice this right off the bat was Bombino on the right side and Sargent on the left, and yeah, it does seem good, even though that's not the position you kind of want Bombino in. It does, and it kind of seems like it doesn't matter now. It just doesn't. He can play on his left or his right. He's still amazing. He's still a great player, and he's fine. And he made a great save in the back line, and he's still producing. He can play anywhere, and he's still great. So maybe this is kind of like the way to go moving forward, because it kind of works.
Isn't it crazy how much more elevated it seemed to allow Anders Dreyer to be? Some more freedom to go ahead and just float around in that space, in that right side. The first goal that we just showed, it does start on the right side. You even have Oni Valakari doing incredible off-the-ball movements and making those runs to be able to take an entire defense away from it. And that, again, starts from the confidence to have that sort of player in the back that is going to be able to track back and get the ball and recover, but also be dangerous moving it up. And on the left-hand side, early in the match, too, you saw Alex Mighton appear and have some dangerous crosses, have some dangerous looks. Again, thanks to Sargent and his ability also to be able to put a ball inside of the box. San Diego FC felt dangerous throughout, and they felt dangerous through various levels and at different places in their lines. And I think that's where they're able to really hit a stride, where they control the ball, they have the possession of the ball, but they're doing stuff with it. They're not just having the possession and trying to walk it in. You can see that there's been an intentionality on shots taken from inside, outside, and around the box. And that's one of the things that Mikey Vadas has harped on. And you can tell the shots produced are definitely of quality, and they're more in quantity. And that's how you definitely go ahead and just put the other team on the backside, because then you have somebody like Invarson who can just clean things up, or he's going to take shots all on his own too.
Speaking of shots, quality and quantity, I want to get to the guy that I would name my man of the match, and that's David Vasquez, because this young man showed you what it means to be dangerous, gave you a second scoring option that this club hasn't seen since Once was running around on the pitch doing his thing, made space for Ingvartsen and Dreyer, had a goal, an assist, and a secondary assist that sprung a goal along the way. took a wild scissor kick that if he had waited a quarter of a second would have been one of the goals of the year in MLS, and finished his brace with a beautiful El Vaquero-esque step over, cut right, left, step again. I mean, he did all the fancy footwork. He took the ball from the midfield line into the attacking third and into the box and scored. Vasquez was, this run, this is just classic. When you are feeling it, when it's stoppage time is 4-0, we're going to go step over, step again, cut right, left, bang. That's beauty. That's beauty. And having that saucy, sexy attack from Vasquez, that confidence, that little oil to keep the Pistons pumping, I felt like Vasquez was so critical with this performance tonight. And if that young man wants to develop into being a star in this league, this was his breakout night.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, we actually saw a lot of fancy footwork out there in this match, and man, and David Vasquez had himself a night. He had the most shots out of everybody on the field. 2 shots on target, second highest XG, and yeah, I felt it. I think around the 15th minute when he shot outside the box. Yeah, he was completely just feeling himself and just he knew like he was supposed to be on that field. He just had a ton of confidence and could really make his mark on the match. And I think that's what I like about this kid. It's the confidence, just being able just to take on anybody. And you saw it on that last run. It was just him on his own, 1-on-1, and he beat the Austin defender just easily and knocked in the shot and got himself a brace. So great performance. And I think this is kind of like what we're expecting out of these kids. And the kid, not only it's Vasquez, Bombino, but also Soma that has been playing. They all played great in this match.
I mean, that's what happens when you give the kid a chance, and you'll hear what the response is, because I asked him, like, you've been the sacrificial lamb for a lot of these games where San Diego FC just can't play you because they get a red card or they have to adjust, or it's a circumstance within the game that doesn't allow you to really develop into the match. And what we've been saying, and I've been talking about David Vasquez, is that he's a player that needs to get that feel for the game. He has a great feel for the game, but he needs to feel the game, right? That scissor kick in the first half that gave him that confidence to really start experimenting and seeing and finding those spaces. And then you start building that confidence, and now you can go ahead and be a little bit more saucy, be a little bit more confident in your run, so much so to go ahead and go for that solo run. At the end, yes, 100%. Austin is just walking, and there's in that fourth goal by Marcus Varson, there's 4 guys around him and they're just trotting on back, but it's still difficult to score in those situations, and it's still important to make sure that you're making those goals concrete as you can, because that's the confidence that this team needs. And this is what the team has been needing, a shot in the arm of creativity to really be able to say, hey, we can take that next step. And not only that, hey, starters, hey, if you're in front of me, this is what's behind you. And that's why, for me, also a great performance from another midfielder in Pedro Soma.
Thank you. Perfect transition. That's the next guy on the list for me. And Soma, this is just so needed for him, 1,000,000%, for the club, a lot, because I don't know when Yepe Tverskov's going to come back. And if you want to look at the numbers and you want to break down the film, as much as we love Yepe and as much as we know that he has been put into impossible positions all year and asked to be himself and a center back like half of his games, like there's so many times Yepe's been put in impossible situations. Nonetheless, the numbers don't love Yepe Tverskov this year the way that they loved Yepe Tverskov the year before. So the idea that we already had a guy who wasn't performing at the level he had previously and then you take him out and you say, well, who's going to replace him? Okay, Godoy, he can do what he can do. Anibal Godoy is a veteran player. You know what you can get from him. There's not another level beyond that. Panama is hoping for the very best in about a month from now. But nonetheless, you know what you're getting. Soma is the guy who could step into a higher role, a higher class, take it even beyond Godoy, get it up to that Tverskov level, and maybe even push it beyond that. But we hadn't really seen it from Pedro. We had seen a lot of placeholder behavior. We had seen a lot of third line reserve type action. Like, okay, he's not killing the team, but he's not really increasing the team's chances to score goals. So to see what he did tonight was super, super encouraging. And, I'm not going to overread what probably on the Tree Maniacs live post-game show that they probably decided not to do. They would say that this was their club's ultimate clunker and it's an absolute garbage game and no one should read anything from it. They should throw it in the trash and move on. I'm not going to treat it, like the Magna Carta instead. But still, this team needs Soma. And for him to step up the way he did tonight, I think is absolutely not only noteworthy, but worthy of praise.
When it comes to Soma, I think the thing that's probably lacking the most, it's the size and strength. He's probably not there, and defensively, probably not as good as Jeppe Tverskov. But in this match, you just need him to play his strengths, and his strengths are passing. He has such a great touch on the ball when it comes to those long passes, and I don't know what FootMob is looking at, how long these passes are. They could be 15, 20 yards, but he went 3 for 3 on accurate long passes. He was second on the field in passes in the final third. Those are his strengths. He is getting the ball into dangerous areas, and that's what he was doing, and he did a really good job of it. And yeah, the cherry on top was scoring a goal that you don't really expect out of this position. Maybe Jeppe Tverskov is dumping that pass off to somebody else that can get a better shot, but a goal's a goal, and he got one. And this is kind of what you want to see out of him, out of Soma, is can he play to your strengths and play them effectively? And he did that in this match.
And you'll hear the development and what it took for him to, get to this match and his progress, because last year he came in, wasn't here for a long time before he had to go to the Under-20 World Cup. And after that, he came back into playoffs. So, he's also trying to develop and adapt his skill set to this play style. And for him, it's one of these players where you see it across the board, whether it's on Oni Valakari, whether it's somebody who's not Jeppe or Marcus Invarson, who live, breathe, speak the language of Right to Dream and the style of play. Pedro Soma is one of these players that has a skill set, and he just needed to adjust that specific skill set to match what they were asking for in this play style. And he's learning and growing to develop within it, and you can tell that he's taking those strides, but he also has that class, that finesse that is just so atypical of those academies in Barcelona and the La Masia, where it's hey, we still play this way, safe passing, but we also go ahead and be forward and vertical and attacking. And that's him listening to the head coach. The head coach, Mikey Varas, has been saying, we need to take more shots. They're taking more shots, and these shots are on target and they're going in. At the end of the day, this is, still, if you want to go ahead and give the questions to Mikey Varas and his tactics, well, that's been a direct line for Mikey in post matches and media availability. Start taking shots. They also were the team, I think they're in 4th place in MLS for most possession without taking shots. They were 27th in shots, 4th in possession, 27th in shots. Make that make sense.
Well, we have talked about we have talked about, I think, the guy who was the most important move, which was Bombino. And to me, he's like your hidden MVP. We've talked about our man of the match, Vasquez. We've talked about Soma, who had the giant step forward in this game. The next person I'd like to highlight is number 7. I think Marcus Ingvartsen is just game in, game out, delivering what you want from your 9. He's getting into scoring spaces. He's making clever runs. He's finding a way to get his foot open. He's taking the chances when they come to him. They don't always go on net, but he's finding his way to goals. This has been the most consistent forward performance that this club has ever seen. And I'm really, really impressed. You know, he gets the 4th goal here, but it's very indicative of just the style of play that Marcus is making. Make a simple run, make a simple diagonal cut, look for a first-time shot. He could have scored the first goal of the game. He just missed the right post on a chance very early in the game. Marcus is doing wonderful work. He made the run that allowed the space for the pass to be made to Dreyer for the second goal. So I just think overall, Ingvartsen, who was our Where's Waldo of year 1, is he ever going to be here? Is he ever going to matter? You know, are we just going to talk about, you know, his rakish look, or are we going to talk about him scoring goals and assists? And the answer is Ingvartsen was a great signing. He's giving them in year 2 everything that Jeppe gave this team in year 1 in terms of consistency and performance.
Yeah, it's amazing when he's been able to do when he's on the pitch. He's about 1 goal contribution per match now, and that's incredible. It was everything we were hoping to see last season. We kept praying and hoping, and finally we get to see it in season 2. And it seems like it's making a huge difference when he's out there. And I heard the broadcast talk about, you know, who's the all-star for SanDiego FC, and it's kind of obvious that it's going to be Marcus Ingvartsen that's going to be invited, along with probably Anders Dreyer, to go to Charlotte in the summer. So that's how big of a contributions he's made. And guess what? That's another goal for him. And a person we don't want to talk about, he's kind of creeping up there to more goal contributions than that guy and the other guy we don't like to talk about. He's doing it all. He's getting the goals that he needs to get, and it's incredible.
That's, again, Tyler Heaps, props on that too, because, we've heard from him, the pressure was there of like, hey, who are you signing? And they're like, hey, we have a guy, Marcus is coming, and he's filling in. And he's not only filling in, he's filling in as that true natural leader on there. He was captain today. He was the oldest player on the pitch at 30 years old. And, he just definitely has that way of carrying himself and just being that leader. Isn't that crazy, Alex? Like, just at 30 years old, he's the oldest player and a captain, just a daycare of a
that makes me feel old.
Right. It's all good. Craig is a quinceañero. He just had his quinceañera a couple weeks ago. But no, I mean, that's what we're seeing from that. And at the end of the day, like, he's been able to have these contributions, but the results just haven't been there. So I know for him too, he's been frustrated with the way that this team, SanDiego FC, has been able to not finish games, but to have this, it just really kind of unlocks and validates his efforts in being able to go and not just prove to the people who were here and were in the starting 11 that made an appearance, but the players who are coming back from injury and are rested or whatnot. And so, he's definitely stepped up to that Jeppe Sverskov sort of role that Jeppe had last year, where you're like, oh, wow, like, this guy can really be something. He does really something special. So if anything, that just kind of makes me sad, because, I wanted to see, just as a pure soccer purist, like, I want to see Marcus and Jeppe out there at 100% and see what that looks like.
You might get your chance at the end of the year, because we're doing this show on a Wednesday night, approaching midnight, not quite there, but approaching midnight. There won't be a Thursday show, which would just be kind of repeating the same thing. So let me just say this, that I would have otherwise said maybe on a Thursday show. And again, thinking about some of the stuff we talked about with Matt Doyle last week as well, if SDFC really really wants to be serious about 2026, they need to sign 2 designated players over the course of the next window. They need to go to 3DP and they need to make it real, because they're getting the job done with, veteran bargains like Tverskov and Ingvartsen. They're getting the job done with Dreyer, who is, compared to many other DPs, a relative bargain. They're spending over $9 million for a player who's not playing. And it's not okay at the end of the year to say, well, we finished 10th, but, Chucky. That's not enough. That's not enough. So I'll be really curious. And as our dear friend Memes, who was at least in the chat at the beginning, there he is, as our dear friend Memes has said, like, this club will show itself in the window. It will show itself in the transfer window how serious they are. And if they just want to do average MLS and they want to get to the play-in match, Darnay Tripp, what's up, Darnay? Yes. Proof that we're still working hard out here, brother.
I can't hear anything. I can't
It's
hear
okay.
anything.
It's fine. It's fine.
You guys keep crushing it.
Thank you so
Craig
much.
Elston. What up, Alex? And this guy, Tony Sanchez, ladies and gentlemen. How lucky are we to have Tony Sanchez?
Appreciate it.
No one else would ask the questions otherwise. He's the
No
guy.
one else would ask the questions.
You might have a point there. Keep up the great work, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you, Darnay. The great Darnay Tripp right there. NBC 739, Sports Night in San Diego. Great show. Hour-long show. Happens on Sunday evenings. You can check that out. We talked some SDFC a week ago over there. Nonetheless, okay. Yeah. I really think that, like, another loss today, you can be like, oh, lost season, second season, sophomore jinx, blah, 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 reconfigure. Hey, 3-game unbeaten. Let's go take 3 from Cincinnati on Saturday. Maybe you get a result out of the Whitecaps match. Who knows? But if this team actually spent serious coin, brought in another DP, and then brought in another DP, they could take this thing to a higher level. It's not like MLS is sitting there with 16 juggernauts waiting for you to be it's not like the Dodgers are out there. Inter, I guess, was supposed to be that, but are they? How long can it continue? How long can it really continue? They've had some things that have really backfired on them in terms of big money. Dane St. Clair. So like, we're going to switch over to post-match sound. We're going to keep it here. We're going to keep it locked in on tonight's result. But that would be, guys, and I'd love to get your reaction. That would be my kind of Thursday type take, is like, let's not just sit on this like we're hatching the bleeping egg. Like, let's go push money, DP, real talent. Let's push this thing and see how far it can go.
And luckily for all the people listening right now, and anyone in the future, they can go to ChromaticFC.com. I'm just going to plug right now. You can check out the Gam and Tam, mid-season edition of all the updated figures. And guess what? They have $4 million to play with. SDFC does, and they can do a lot of the things that Craig is saying. They can go dump Chucky, get a couple more DPs out of it, and they have room to do that. It's just a question of and the good thing is they only have Pedro Selma as a under 22. That is also helpful. The question is like, who are you going to kick out of this roster to do that? Obviously, one is Chucky. They already have one open spot, and you kind of need a couple more open spots that I believe I think you should upgrade the midfield a little bit, and probably, if you're being a little serious, bring in another right back, and have Luca Bombino be full time on the left side. So all these things are possible, and they should be serious about it, especially when you lost a lot of goodwill in these last couple months. And we can say it. Everyone saw it. It didn't look good in the stands tonight. Everyone knows why. So it's a Wednesday night. it is what it is. It's not what it used to be last year. And I think if you want to have some goodwill, you want to make this a real contending playoff team, do the thing, spend the money, and let's all be happy and go on a playoff ride all together.
I like that. Before we go into post-match sound, don't you guys think you're going to get away from me? Because guess who got another clean sheet?
Oh, I knew it was coming.
Guess
on this play. This was not a great play for Soma. It was a great play for Duran Ferree.
I mean, we've been seeing it. Another clean sheet. He comes back in. He definitely has a better week. Last week made the bench for team of the match day for his performances. And I mean, if you say what you will, those mistakes are still there, but then the moxie that he carries himself is definitely coming back up. And I don't know, what are your thoughts after what you saw today from Duran Ferree in the last couple of matches that he's been able to come back in?
My answer is I was really, really happy to see that his confidence level hasn't cratered. And I think that for a young player, playing at home can be an elixir because you've got the love from behind you. When you start, the north end is behind you, lifting you up, giving you that feeling of confidence, that ebullience. You slept in your own bed. Everything feels comfortable. You don't have all the people screaming at you, you're going to fail today, blah, 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 on the road. I think we've seen some really tough things from Duran late in games. And, when you're up 4-0 late in the game, you're not going to see those things because there's no pressure in those circumstances. So I thought it was wonderful for the club to take the pressure off Duran by playing so well in the attacking third in the opening 20 minutes of this game to get ahead 2-0, to give him and the defense the cushion to be able to kind of relax into the game and get the heart rate regulated. That one chance, though, that was a real chance. That was a chance that could have changed the game fundamentally. And Duran made that big save. He was good with his feet over the course of the night. I don't think it was a spectacular night for Duran Ferree. It didn't have to be in order for this club to get where it got. No, I like him. Listen, SoCal Footy Live. I said two shows ago that if I was Mike Ivares, I would come straight out and say, Duran is my keeper the rest of the year. I don't care if we lose every game. We're going to develop Duran Ferree. I did think Cicho dos Santos against LAFC made a difference. I thought he made a difference. It's too bad his face got caved in again. It sucks. It sucks for CJ. But this is the world that we're in. And Duran Ferree, to his everlasting credit, has come out the last two matches and answered the bell. They pulled a result out of Lumen Field, for God's sake. A lot of really good teams have gone to in way better form than SDFC, have gone to Lumen Field and come away with 0 points and left with their heads, up high, saying we played pretty well tonight. We just ran into a buzzsaw. Like, they pulled a result there, and then today, 5-0. So very, very exciting, very, very encouraging, because it's clear we're not going to have a different goalkeeper appear out of nowhere and take over this thing. This is Duran's team. This is his team. This is his first year. It's his rookie year, basically, not in reality, but in terms of being a player. This is his rookie year. And we're going to go through the highs and lows of it. And 2-3 years from now, we'll probably look back at this being the start of the development of a great keeper in MLS.
Yeah, and all I have to say is I'm just glad that the team and Duran Ferree were able to keep the clean sheet, and there wasn't a garbage time goal, in stoppage time, which would have been a blemish. And it's like, oh well, there's no clean sheet. But no, I think he is the guy right now moving forward until everyone's gonna really reevaluate the situation after the break. But yeah, right now he's the guy, and you just got to put all your support behind him and just hope for the best. And he's looking good. I mean, the stats are there. He is making a lot of saves and preventing goals, but there's nothing more you can say. It's just like this is the guy, and Jacob Jackson's right behind him, if anything.
Literally where I started. Isn't that where I started the show? Loyal Select. Let's go,
loyal,
baby.
all the
Loyal
way.
Select all the way.
So he played a great game.
Let's get to post-match sound. Let's hear what was said downstairs, something you probably haven't seen yet. Watching us live here on YouTube or listening to the podcast or watching the video a little bit down the road. By the way, if you're here, please hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done it yet. Please give us that like. That's going to help us out down the road, and it'll help fellow SDFC fans out down the road. Tony, line it up for us. What do you got? Oh, yeah, this guy.
Thank you for your time, Mike. Congratulations on the victory. You've been mentioning a couple of the details that this team has grown in match day game, day in, day out. What are some of those details that came together tonight that you were most proud of for your team?
I think we were clean on the ball and at the same time vertical with it. So it wasn't just it was a good balance between having strong possessions and controlling the match, but at the same time hurting the opponent with it. Right. And I think we did that really well. I also think that we got back to winning duels, traveling together, having that energy that you need, play after play after play, to give yourselves the best chance of winning a game.
And then what are some of the players that stood out for you today in their performance individually that potentially you've seen at the training ground that really came out tonight and performed?
Yeah, I think Anders Dreyer continues to be a massive player for us. He's involved in everything that happens when we're flowing in our possession. I think Marcus is really stepping up in terms of finding ways to score goals and being a real impact at the number 9 position. I think really happy for Pedro Soma. After a game about a month and a half ago in Dallas, and him just going a little bit back to the work lab to make some steps forward, and I think he took some steps. He still has many steps to go, but he showed a lot of progress between now and then. And then I think David also showing that he's growing. All the young guys showing that they're stepping up, and then really happy with our center backs in terms of really just dominant performance and transition and helping us control the final line against a very good team.
Scott?
When you win. Everybody feels better when you win. But at the end of the day, like I said, after the last few matches, this is not an overnight thing. I think this was building little by little. The performances were getting better and better, and we had to scrape out a couple of points in the last 2, but you could feel that the group was building momentum, and that's a credit to the guys' commitment to who we are, the work rate that they have to prepare matches and to try to go after each one.
You did play the last couple of matches and you did get points. At the same time, you gave up late goals that cost you. And tonight, we just saw a different San Diego team. In terms of you mentioned the energy, but it almost seemed to be the joie de vivre in the way that they played that we haven't seen for a while.
Say that last part.
Joie de vivre, just this joy of the game.
Yeah.
That we saw a lot of last year in the team, and we hadn't seen as much this year.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, one, what you saw in that. How much of that was having players like Soma out there making a difference, having Vasquez having a wonderful game, guys who are players who are rising rather than there, and they're being able to come out and just play with freedom.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't think it has to do with the individual players, because I think the guys who started the last few matches played large swaths of those games at a very high level, 60, 70, 75 minutes. And as you said, we've had trouble closing games. I think it was more of a group mentality thing, when things don't go your way and then all of a sudden you have something going your way, it's natural sometimes to start to feel a little bit of pressure at the end. And what we've talked about as a group, and all of us are on the same page, is we got to be who we are all the time. And win, lose, or draw, let's do that being who we are. And that means we keep being proactive in our game, we keep playing the game, and we don't try to do something different. And I think today was just a game where you could feel that they really they really took that to heart. And then, of course, it also helps that we were really aggressive. So you get the third goal and things completely change, right? And it gets a lot easier to close games as well.
Alegria de viva? Si. Joie de vivre? No.
It was so wonderful. Just the insight, like background, like the SanDiego FC camera person who does the translations comes up to Scott French. Shout out Scott French, a great reporter that covers MLS. He's like, I heard you use a word that I've never heard. What was it? Oh, joie de vivre. Like, oh, okay.
Joie de vivre. Joie de vivre. Just a reminder that I stupidly took French in high school and just wasted my time in it, and got a D as well. It didn't help me in any sense, way, shape, or form. And I could have learned Spanish when I was 17 instead of waiting until I was, 47 to start figuring it out. Nonetheless, I just could you say that second part again? So damn good.
But guess who knew? Craig did immediately. It worked out.
Don't speak French to Mikey. I would have totally looked at the guy in the press conference. I'd be he's talking French to Mikey. Un poco de español, por favor. Alegría de viva. Si no. Oh my goodness. Quizás. Okay. Great stuff from Mikey Varas. And, the one guy in there, because when we were kind of going through our honor roll before we went, I threw a Thursday take in instead of finishing the honor roll. Anders Dreyer belonged on the honor roll for tonight. He was terrific. And Mikey's exactly right. And I think it's very interesting that he chose to select Dreyer first on his list when Tony asked him who are the players whose individual performances you want to highlight. He started with Dreyer, and I think that's so important because, to me, guys, Mikey knows better than anyone else. This machine starts with Dreyer. We are so much of a higher level team if he's playing at a World Cup level, at an elite level, at a best 11 type level in MLS. When he's just the best player on our team, that's not enough. Right? That's enough for us to be 12th in the league. When he's one of the best players in the league, all of a sudden our team can be one of the best teams in the league as well. So really liked that from Mikey, and I thought that was an important thing to underline.
Yeah, Anders Dreyer is just simply class. Everything he does, it seems like every match he's highly rated in probably every offensive category, and he tries to create a lot of things. It doesn't matter where he's at. It's either on the right wing or he comes back and plays a little bit in the midfield, but he's everywhere, and he wants to be everywhere and do a lot. And this is what you're kind of getting at Anders Dreyer. He's the guy that wants to do everything. The other interesting thing that I heard at a Mikey was how he liked the young guys stepping up, and that's a thing that we actually heard out of Mikey not too long ago. It was probably a few weeks ago that he wanted guys, especially the younger guys that are there. They're on the roster. They're there for depth, and this was a match where they did step up in a really big way. So it seems like everyone's engaged, everyone's focused on a common goal, and it really does seem like everything's kind of moving in the right direction slowly, and they're finally figuring it out. And I'm kind of excited to see what they can do against FC Cincinnati.
It's almost like we've taken for granted, unfortunately, and the greatness that he does bring to this team. And it did strike me too, oh yeah, I'm here focusing on David, on Soma, and so many players that aren't necessarily, but sometimes you just have to go ahead and start with the guy, and the guy is Anders Dreyer, and when he's on it, he's definitely on it. Which, by the way, make sure to be one of the first 20,000 people on Saturday, and you get yourself the Anders Dreyer Paletero bobblehead.
He's already got one, gang.
Yeah, wow. Courtesy of, thank you, SanDiego.FC comms team. I wanted to go ahead and make sure we say that. Thank you for that. It's actually a really good bobblehead. Like in quality for bobbleheads, it's up there. It's solid. Like good stuff.
Did you guys hear who's going to be the keeper of the flow on Saturday?
Should we spoil it?
I mean, if you're here this long,
Kind of feel like it's a good Easter egg at 10:39 on the West Coast.
Yeah,
just
go
give you a
for it.
hint. He's involved in the show. I mean, he's a big part of the show.
Big
No
part.
memes. No, it's memes,
Big
baby.
part
The
of the
man who
show.
made the Palatero
Big,
meme. He's
a
gonna be the
huge
keeper
part
of the
of this.
flow.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And
exciting.
I mean, he'll, I believe, be the tallest keeper of the flow in SDFC history. So we'll don't drop that ball because he's the first guy who could literally break it if he dropped it just based on height.
Oh,
for the
man.
terrible
Yeah.
SDFC memes. Brandon Booth, terrible SDFC memes will be the keeper of the flow. The man who created the Palatero meme himself. And who also, by the way, helps us with terrible Padres memes on Padres Hot Tub. So a beloved contributor to both of my main shows. Yeah, amazing. Great stuff, SDFC. I also heard there's at least an outside chance that the Sockers could be honored at SDFC on Saturday night. If they can figure out where the damn cup is.
We still haven't.
No, I think somebody knows. It's not me, but somebody knows. Let's get to our next piece of post-match sound. Yeah. I don't need to go down that rabbit hole right there. What do we got next, Tony?
All right, so the blow machines to clean SanDiego Snapdragon are out, so we'll start it here with Pedro Soma.
Match and how you felt being part of the system and starting it and your development throughout and specifically taking through your goal as well.
Yeah, no, I think it's been a long road, but I think the best thing is the consistency that we have day in every single training session, which makes us ready for these opportunities. And then, like you said, in the system, I think that's training every single day, the same system, working on it day in, day out. What happened today wasn't a 2-day change or fix. It's something that we've been working on for months, and so very proud of that. And then the goal was I had the space and I decided to shoot, and thank God it went in.
And then, Mike, you mentioned a little bit about working alongside you. What can you say about the team on the back end, whether it's coaches, whether it's Mikey himself, in order to prepare you for this moment?
Yeah, behind the scenes, there's so much work that goes into it individually, doing video all the time, training extra all the time, especially even doing video, just me and Mikey. I remember we watched the whole Dallas game together a couple months ago, and that's just the dedication that they have for the development of the young players on this team is magnificent, and you can see the results with all the young guys prospering right now.
So Mike and Mary, how does this feel? Like it's been a long time since you guys have won.
Yeah, the guys were dancing right now. David is the guy on aux, so he was blasting some music, but very happy. Like I said before, this is not something that we didn't change anything. It's something we've been consistently working on. I think the last 2 games we deserved to win. We felt that, and today was we felt like we were ourselves again. So that we're very happy about that.
Yeah, in the last 2 games, you could see a rise from the games that had led previously. Today, we saw a jump from that, and like you said, we were like ourselves. You guys looked like the team we saw last year.
Yeah.
What was different? Is it something that you can put a finger on, or is it just something that's a little more ephemeral?
No, I think for us, or for me personally, I think the energy is number one. Energy. When I feel good, you feel good, and it spreads for the whole team. And you could feel the first 20 minutes we were flying. And so the key is to keep that for the whole 90 minutes. I think Anibal said it in some press conferences, Mikey as well, at the last games. It was just key to keep it throughout the whole 90 minutes. And today we were able to do that, which is why we got a clean sheet and why we kept scoring goals.
Great stuff from Pedro Soma. Not as great from the automatic computer translators, which turned ephemeral into feminine. But look, either way, whether it was ephemeral or feminine, they kept the good times rolling here tonight. Don't forget, you can see complete post-match press conference video right here at SanDiego.Futbol. Full press conference, all the questions, all the answers to be revealed to you after this show finishes going live. Guys, we're approaching the hour mark. I do want to bring up FC Cincinnati because this game is upon us already, basically, 48 hours, and then it'll be match day once again. And FC Cincinnati comes in with a very similar record, not the same exact team, right? Like, I think this is going to be a very, very interesting match. And given that the entire league is in sprint mode right now with multiple match days per week, trying to squeeze in all these games before the World Cup window, it does feel like, maybe similar to the sprint season that'll be coming up down the road, that it puts pressure on some of the more veteran sides. So your thoughts on FC Cincinnati coming in?
Just that they just lost to Inter Miami. Messi almost had a hat trick that was actually taken back and it was ruled an own goal. So Messi had a brace, and they Inter Miami won 5-3. But this is a very high scoring 3 goals tonight. Is also a big deal. But this is a high scoring type of team. They do like to shoot. They do like to score. They're probably the 4th or 5th highest XG team right now. And the only thing about them, their Achilles heel, is that they give up the same amount of goals that they score. So even more, they and on the road, they actually have a -7 goal differential. So there is a good chance that if you play your best players, you have a good match, you can win against this team. Also, East Coast flying into West Coast. We saw what happened last season when, against Nashville. Nashville's a good team, and they had it kind of seemed like they were still kind of waking up and not so ready to play here on the West Coast. Same thing can happen against FC Cincinnati. They're not the best away team. It could be a winnable match if you bring your A game on Saturday. So I think guys were rotated for a reason, and I think we'll probably see the best 11 that San Diego can put out on Saturday.
And I do think, real quick, as noise pollution is happening, essentially, I do believe that Cincinnati can definitely be a beatable team, especially with the confidence that San Diego FC has in going into this match. And it actually gives Mikey a more difficult time to choose that starting 11, right? You saw some players that did exactly what you asked, and you're saying that if you see it in training, you're going to go ahead and reward them with game time minutes. Let's see if that's the case, because you really have a chance to experiment and throw these players out there. So, we'll see. And I will say FC Cincinnati is the one team that, as soon as SDFC was announced, for some strange reason, their fan base attacked SDFC. And, it's an online rivalry of sorts somehow.
Okay. Well, yeah. Challenge accepted. That's cool. Like, we're winning every day against Cincinnati in life. So, like, if they want to go at the football side of it, that's completely fine. I get it. We're still pulling that dub at the end of the day. I've been there, Cincinnati. I've been there a few times. I've driven through the middle of your city. I've seen, it looks like someone shot cannonballs through old brick houses. It's like, there's some pretty ugly shit in the middle of that city. And then you get to go eat, and it's like, oh, well, we have this chili on a hot dog or the other chili on a hot dog. Well, or go crazy, get White Castle. Like, just go wild, go crazy, go nuts, get White Castle. So incredible stuff there. Yeah, good times. We'll see how it all plays out against FC Cincinnati on Saturday. Hopefully we'll be there with some post-match coverage for you as well. From that one, I'll be in the supporters section in the North End on Saturday evening. as SDFC and FC Cincinnati get ready to lock boots. But for this club on this day, this was a super important result. Every once in a while, you need to run into a team that over-rotates, doesn't bring their best game, and kind of falls apart, and you just stomp them. And, to get that big result against FC Cincinnati on Saturday, I hope that the Gas Lamp Quarter has its best night on Friday to take some of those players and give them a great time and let them enjoy what it means to be in America's finest city. And then, maybe they won't feel so bad when they're on the plane that night flying back on, we didn't win, but come on, guys, this was a good trip. We had a good time here. Remember what happened? We had a good time. So, yeah, all of that still to come. Guys, closing thoughts as we hit the hour mark and we get ready to log off.
Just a great win. It was great to see a lot of contribution from the younger players and much needed 3 points on a very long road ahead still against FC Cincinnati, and then you get Vancouver right after that. So I'm gonna cherish this moment of winning and getting 3 points.
I'll be here on Friday and on Saturday. So were the leaf blowers. So come get your bobblehead. First 20,000 people. Check it out. It's going to be fun. Fun times in San Diego in soccer.
All right, that's it for this show. Don't forget, you can support Tony by going to SanDiego.Futbol, supporting everything that himself, Chiva, and Abe are doing all the time. I won't make you do your own plug, Tony, to avoid the vuvuzelas that are in the background there. Meanwhile, Alex, what's going on at ChromaticFC.com?
It seems like I've written a lot. I wrote a recap of Seattle, a preview of Austin, and then probably going to write again tonight, tomorrow, sometime, somewhere. But yeah, I just updated the GAM-TAM numbers. If anyone wants to check that out, numbers were released Tuesday. So go check that out, chromaticfc.com. And if you want to talk some footy, ChromaticFC SD on Instagram. Greg.
Well, I'm going to forestall any of my plugs just to say a very special thank you to our producer, Puma, because this man is truly suffering. He's got a flight at 11 a.m. tomorrow out of Lindbergh Field. But he stayed up to almost 11 p.m. in order to make sure that this show stayed on the air. So thank God he may only get 6.5 hours sleep tonight. But I think Puma will be okay. But his sacrifice is not gone forgotten on this beautiful Wednesday night. That's it for the Chromaniacs. Let's go, boys. 5-0. Spanking Austin. Sending them right on back to Tejas. For Tony, live at Snapdragon Stadium. For Alex, I'm Craig. Vamos, SDFC.